Hello, Andreas.
Hello, Charlotte.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us. We're all looking forward to learning more about the Swiss travel system. Now, for
Great
agents,
pleasure.
lovely. Well, for agents who may not be familiar with the Swiss travel system, could you give us a bit of an introduction?
Of course. Swiss travel system might be sound very fancy, but in fact, that's the Swiss public transport network. Well, for the ones who have been to Switzerland already, they know what I'm talking about. For the others, Swiss public transport consists of more than 450 companies.
Wow.
They are all operating the entire system. And that's maybe a reason why we call the Swiss travel system the world's densest public transport network. And very important, we talk about public transport and not about rail only,
Okay,
because it's a fully integrated network of public transport.
perfect. So what does it include alongside rail?
It does include trains, buses, boats, and city transportation.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Lovely. Fantastic. And why is public transport such an excellent way to get around in Switzerland? And what can customers expect when they're traveling with you?
Well, as I mentioned already, the world's densest public transport network. And just to give you a few facts, there is not a single place in Switzerland which is in average more than 360 meters away from a public transport stop.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And the public transport stop is not just a place where a bus stops once a day. No, they stop on a regular basis because in Switzerland, we have a thing called the regular interval timetable, meaning there is a train or a bus running every hour on each line in each direction.
Wow.
On the main lines, especially when we talk about railway, we have trains every 30 minutes. And well, that's maybe the reason why we have such a great network. And the other good thing is that all these trains and buses and boat companies, they're actually talking to each other. So they synchronize their timetables, meaning you always have a connection. I give you
Fabulous.
an example. You take the train somewhere in Switzerland, and at a certain point, you reach the end of the line. What now? Well, you just walk out of the station and you would find a bus waiting in front of the station, taking you farther up into the valleys, the beautiful valleys of Switzerland, where you find the remote villages with the churches and bell towers, the green meadows, and the lovely Swiss cow, which produce the Swiss milk, cheese, and are part of the Swiss chocolate. Here we go. No, that's just to actually show you how easy it is to connect in Switzerland. Journeys start at the airport already. We have the railway stations right in the terminal.
Brilliant.
So you can make it in 20 minutes from the plane to the train. And this is not just a shuttle taking you into the city, for example, as it is in Heathrow, right?
Yeah.
No, these are the long distance trains stopping at the airports, which take you to all the major places in Switzerland, and even to there are even international trains stopping at the airports. And of course, the good thing is also that the railway stations are always in the city centers. And since our cities are comparatively small, there is not 100 stations like in London. There is usually one main train station in the city center from where you can easily connect. Is it by walking or is it by local public transport like tramways?
Brilliant. Well, that sounds wonderful and so incredibly efficient as well.
Yes, yes.
Amazing. And of course, you've got the fantastic Swiss Travel Pass as well, haven't you? So could you tell us how that works and the key information
Yeah,
agents need
very
to know?
well. I mean, what does a network with 450 companies operating it, consisting of train, buses, and boats, which is synchronized, what does it help if you don't have a pass giving access to everything? That's why we have this so-called Swiss Travel Pass, which is your all-in-one ticket for the Swiss travel system. So with one single pass, you get access to everything.
Brilliant.
So you can use all the trains, all the boats, all the buses, all the city transportation. You can have the pass for 3, 4, 6, 8, or 15 days. And there are two options. One option is the consecutive pass, The other option is a flex pass. So this flex pass is valid for 1 month, and within this month, you can choose the dates of traveling day by day. We have a first class and a second class here in Switzerland. Well, on the trains, not on the buses, but on the boats as well. Do you know where the first class is on a boat?
Oh, tell us.
That's on the upper deck.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So when traveling first class, you have usually a little bit more space and comfort on the trains.
Fabulous.
You have a better view on the boats, right? There we are. That's the difference. And I mean, besides traveling all the trains, buses, and boats with the Swiss Travel Pass, you also get reductions for mountaintop excursions.
Okay, fabulous.
And you know, there are quite a few mountains in Switzerland, and quite a few of them are accessible.
Great.
Not only by walking, but by mountain railways, cable cars, or gondolas. And to most of these mountains, you get up to 50% with the Swiss Travel Pass.
That's a great
And
saving.
there is even a handful which is free of charge.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
And do you also get free admission to some museums as well? Is that right?
That's a very good point. Thanks for raising this. Yes. It's not only a few museums, it's 500 to be precise.
Amazing.
Actually more than 500. And those museums range from history to UNESCO World Heritage to nature parks, to the Olympic Museum, for example, and many, many medieval castles in Switzerland are museums.
Brilliant.
So you get free entrance, and I can tell you museums in Switzerland are not cheap. So with this Swiss Travel Pass, you get quite a reduction. And one museum I want to point out is the World Football Museum in Zurich.
Right.
I know the people from Great Britain, they usually love football.
We do, yes. We love our football.
So this is the place to go. And do you know what the normal entrance fee is to that particular museum?
No, gosh, how much is it?
It's 24 Swiss francs.
All right, okay.
And now that's about 22 pounds at the moment. So you see the saving is quite significant with the Swiss Travel Pass. And if you add it up, you have a nice added value. And what I forgot to mention, we are very family friendly here in Switzerland. So only the adults, the parents need a pass, and children up to 16 years of age travel free of charge with them.
Brilliant, lovely. It really helps stretch that budget, doesn't it, and ensure customers.
Absolutely. Yes, I mean, yeah, Switzerland is not cheap. Swiss public transport is not cheap, but with the Swiss Travel Pass, you have a very good option, and I think we can say you get good quality for what you pay.
Wonderful, fabulous. So that's the Swiss Travel Pass.
Yes, right.
Tell us about some of the spectacular views that customers will be soaking up when they're traveling with you. I'm sure there's lots that they can expect.
Of course. I mean, you know, here in Switzerland, you have actually views everywhere, to be honest.
Of course.
But there are certain train lines which are particularly special. That's the premium panoramic trains. And I think it's a must to travel at least on one of those to get this special experience. I mean, the Glacier Express, that's probably the most well-known of these premium panoramic trains, which can be very busy at the moment. So it's sometimes quite hard to get a seat.
Right.
But of course, we have many other options as well. There is the Bernina Express. There is the Gotthard Panorama Express. There is the Luzern Interlaken Express, or even the Golden Pass Express. So you see, there's a whole variety of premium panoramic trains. Yes.
Brilliant. And you've also got the Grand Train Tour of Switzerland as well, haven't
there
you?
we are. The Grand Train Tour of Switzerland. Yes. I mean, since we have so many premium panoramic trains and so many beautiful train lines, we wanted to make it a little bit easier for the visitor to Switzerland. That's why we have created this Grand Train Tour of Switzerland. Wonderful. So what we have done is we have taken all these premium panoramic train and we have put them into the right order so that people can easily combine all these beautiful train rides. And we came up with the Grand Train Tour of Switzerland.
Wonderful. And there's different durations, is there? So you can
choose
the one that fits the customer.
So basically, the Grand Train Tour of Switzerland itself is a suggestion. It's an itinerary on how you can combine those premium panoramic trains in a best way,
I see.
right? And the easiest way to travel then is probably to use one of these Swiss travel passes. And maybe you have to adjust the Grand Train Tour a little bit. The normal Grand Train Tour when you travel every day takes 8 days, right?
Okay.
But it's very easy to shorten it a bit, or you can even make it longer. For example, staying in certain places, taking excursion to mountain tops, use a boat on a lake,
I
and
see.
there you go. You can extend it up to 15 days very easily.
Oh, wow.
But what many tour operators have done, they have created their own packages around this Grand Train Tour. So what they provide is a rail and hotel arrangement with various durations.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And you mentioned families earlier. Who
Yes.
else should agents be pitching this to?
Well, I mean, Switzerland is for everybody. Switzerland is very family friendly. We take especially care on the trains, boats, and buses for the families. Did you know that there is a family car on every intercity train?
Oh, wow.
Now, what's a family car? That's a rolling playground.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe, but most intercity trains in Switzerland, or we can nowadays we can say even all of them are double-decker trains to cope
Okay.
with the big request we have, the big demands we have. And so all these intercity double-decker trains feature these family compartments with toys, with a playground.
Wow.
Children can play and the parents sit back and relax. So
Mate, that's unlike any train I've heard of. That sounds fantastic.
yes, but then of
Wow.
course also for the people who want to travel a little bit more relaxed, we have the first class. In intercity trains, you still find the dining car on the
Lovely.
train, where you can even have a full meal, even though traveling times are short in Switzerland. Do you know how long it takes to cross the whole country by train?
Oh gosh, I couldn't guess. Tell us.
So from Geneva in the very west to St. Gallen in the northeast of Switzerland, it takes roughly 4 hours.
Okay.
So you see,
Fantastic.
traveling times in Switzerland are not very long.
No, not at
Mm.
all.
And the whole
Wonderful.
system is built up with hubs. So the big stations are hubs where you change trains and get connections. Might be a little bit tricky to have a full meal on the train, but
Yeah.
don't you worry, you wouldn't starve or get thirsty.
Definitely.
But now coming back to the Grand Train Tour and offer. So there is something for everybody, for families, for single travelers, for honeymoon couples, for senior citizens, for the ones who want to be a little bit more active and maybe want to do bike and train or hike and train. And so there are so many options.
Wonderful. And I'm
Yes.
imagining the scenery must change dramatically throughout the year. What can clients expect at different times of year? And is there a season that's particularly popular or that's your personal favorite?
You know, that's the good thing about Switzerland. I mean, we have really these 4 seasons. The 4 seasons are totally different, right? I mean, spring. When you travel in spring, especially on the premium panoramic trains, you have you have all the nature. The nature is awakening, right? So you have, especially in maybe in later spring, like late April or May, you have all these meadows with hundreds, thousands of flowers, right?
Oh, beautiful.
Wildflowers, or and everything is very green, very lush, right? And of course, then in summer, um, you have the well the typical summer weather. You have the smell of hay in the air, for example, and you have these beautiful summer sceneries with all the lakes and everything. And in autumn, you have, of course, well, the change of colors in the trees, in the forests, which is absolutely stunning on certain panoramic trains. And in winter, you have the winter magic. Everything covered in snow, especially a little bit higher up. Well, it's not whole Switzerland, which is covered in snow.
No.
But once you get more into the mountains, into the Alps, you still find snow, of
Oh,
course. So there is not a particular season you should come to Switzerland.
really, it's year
Um,
round. Mm,
it's year round.
mm.
And what I recommend, try to avoid summer.
Okay.
Because in July and in August, the trains are pretty full. We have a
That's a
lot
good tip.
of tourists coming in summer, in
Mm,
July and August, who want to travel on those premium panoramic trains.
okay.
But the chances for finding seats, especially in spring and in autumn, is higher. And the one important thing is that on those premium panoramic trains, you have to book seats, right?
Okay.
You have to book seats in advance, otherwise you will not be able to ride those. Um, in contrary, on the regular trains, no seat reservations are required, and you will find always a seat.
Brilliant. Wonderful. Thank you. And I've got to know, what's your favorite journey? Have you got a personal
Now we,
favorite that you can share with us?
now you got me. Yeah, now
Yeah,
you got me. Because you know I'm Swiss, right?
it's hard to choose.
The Swiss are known for their neutrality. So I'm not supposed to have a favorite, right?
Oh,
No,
lovely.
no, but I mean, people always ask that question, what's the most beautiful panoramic train, and what's the most beautiful place to go? And well, it always depends on the itinerary. Which places do the clients want to see? Where do they want to go? And depending on the places they want to visit, there is one or the other panoramic train which fits the best into the itinerary. What I also want to say, it's not only the premium panoramic trains, there is much more. There is much more. As I mentioned before, there are so many beautiful train rides in Switzerland. It does not have only to be the premium panoramic trains. Yeah, there is so many different experiences in Switzerland. As you know, probably we have 4 official languages in Switzerland.
Mm,
So
amazing.
it's German in the north and northeastern part of Switzerland. It's French in the western part. It's Italian in the southern part, and it's Romansh in the mountain areas of the southeastern part. And along with those different languages come different cultures and different architecture and different food and gastronomy. And that makes the diversity of Switzerland so impressive. So,
Brilliant.
so many things to discover.
So much to discover. Lovely. And I mean, I'm sure agents will be really keen to start selling this and all the
Yes,
amazing journeys. So how
yes,
can they learn even more? Tell us a bit about your training program.
very good. With pleasure. As you can see, maybe in the background, it's called the Swiss Travel System Excellence Program. So that's our web-based e-learning program. And I know I have been travel agent myself a very long, long time ago. That's when e-learning started. And I was so fed up with this e-learning at a
Oh
certain
gosh,
stage. But believe me, this e-learning, the excellence program is different.
brilliant.
The thing is, it's all in modules. Mhm. So you don't have to spend a full afternoon or 2, 3 hours in front of the computer to finish this e-learning. You can do bit by bit. So
Lovely.
those modules, they range from 5 minutes up to about 15 minutes.
Okay.
You can do bit by bit, one module today, one tomorrow. Maybe there is one topic which is more interesting for you than the other, etc. So you have the choice.
Fabulous.
In the end, there are tests, of course, which you have to pass. Well, but believe me, it's absolutely doable. And once you have passed the tests, once you have done all the modules, you can call yourself experts, and you will receive a certificate.
Fantastic.
You are entering a lucky draw, so you may win one of the bi-monthly prizes we are giving away. These are
Okay.
attractive prizes of our transportation partners. And if you are lucky enough, you can win a trip to Switzerland even. So there is
Wow.
an annual lucky draw for winners to participate in our celebration trip once per
Brilliant.
year. So it's not only e-learning. There is something to win
Yeah.
besides knowledge. Yes.
Fabulous. Well, we'll include a link under this video so everyone can check the program
Please
out.
do.
Please do.
And we are welcoming every travel agent to do this program. Believe me, it's fun, it's not boring, and it's very useful information about the Swiss travel system and Switzerland in general.
Brilliant. Lovely. Well, please do check that out. As I say, the link will be just underneath this video. And finally, Andreas, is there anything else that agents should know about selling the Swiss travel system and the passes?
Well, I think the big question is where to get the Swiss travel system. We are working with several tour operators and agents in the UK. There are several operators who provide packages. Keep your eyes open. And if you just want to book the passes, but also packages, I think the Switzerland Travel Centre is always a good address in London. They sell all our products and all our packages. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Andreas. It's been a brilliant insight into the Swiss travel system. I've certainly
Great
learned
pleasure.
a lot, and I hope everyone else
Thank you very
has as
much.
well. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. To watch all of our latest webinars, just head to tgmedia.com and look for the video section. And we look forward to seeing you all soon at the next TTG webinar. Thank you.
Bye-bye.